make this purse, you can use any type of yarn that you want. I'm going to be using this macrame yarn. With that, I'm using a size 5.5 hook. You will need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and some stitch markers. And this is optional, but I'm going to be using these as handles. So to begin, we're going to start with a slip knot. So hold your yarn like this. We're going to make a loop, hold on to it, go into the loop, grab the long yarn and pull. And this is your slip knot. You're going to insert your hook into the loop and just tighten it around the hook. So from here, we're going to start chaining, and we're going to chain the width that you want your purse to be. So that's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong amount of stitches we can do here. So we're going to start chaining. So we're going to yarn over and just pull through. That's one chain. And we're going to keep going. So yarn over, pull through, that's 2, yarn over, 3, yarn over, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I think for me, I'm going to stop at 7 chains, but again, you can do as many as you want, long or short. To start the next row, we're going to make single crochets all the way down this way. So we're going to insert our hook into the second stitch from the hook. So not the stitch that the hook is in, but the second stitch right here. So this last stitch is always a turning chain. So for example, if I did 6 chains, plus 1 is always the turning chain. So I did 6, so it's easy to count. It's an even number, and the 7th chain is just a turning chain. So at the end of next row, we will have 6 single crochets, not 7. So we're going to skip the 7th chain that we made, and we're going to start right here. So insert your hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through both loops. So this is our first single crochet of the second row, and I'm going to take a stitch marker and mark this first single crochet right here. So now we move on to our next stitch right here. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. So that's our second single crochet. Now we move on to the next. So the stitch right here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's 3. Next stitch, 4, next stitch, 5, next stitch, 6. So we work through all of our chains. So we had 7 chains to start with, but we have 6 single crochets since the 7th one was a turning chain. So now we're going to do the same thing. So to start the next row, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and again make 6 single crochets. So if you can see, you have 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this chain that we just made is just a turning chain, so we're not going to be working through it. We're working through just the 6 at each row. So again, insert your hook into that first chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And if you want, you can mark your first single crochet at each row if that makes it easier to see. So again, we move on to the next stitch, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, that's 3. This is what it looks like from the top. So you have that V when you go into a stitch. That's 4, 5, and the last one for this row. Take out that stitch marker, insert your hook into that last stitch, like so, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we repeat the exact same thing. So to start the next row, yarn over and chain 1. This is just a turning chain. We turn our work and again start 6 single crochets. So insert your hook into that second chain right here, since we don't put any in the turning chain. So insert, that's 1, and continue all the way down here. And make sure you have the same amount of single crochets at each row. So for me it's 6, so every single row will have 6 single crochets. That's 5, and don't forget your last stitches right here. So insert your hook, looks like this, and that's the last stitch for me. So that's 6 single crochets, and again chain 1, turn your work, and start again. So from here, just make as many rows as you want, which will be how long your purse will be. So that's totally up to you. So make that and I will meet you at the end. So this is the last row I'm making. This is the last single crochet in here. So for me, I'm going to stop at 16 rows, and you can always count back your rows. So if you look at it, so these bars here, they can count 1, 2, 3, 4. So each has 2 rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. But of course you can count as you go. So for me, I have 16 rows. And I can tell you the dimensions for that too, if that makes it any helpful. So I'm going to stop at 15 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So from here, we're just going to do one border around the whole base. So the way we do this is, since I have 16 rows, I'm going to do 16 single crochets here. We have 6 stitches here, so it's 6 single crochets. Again, 16 single crochets because we have 16 rows, and again here we have 6, so I will again place 6 single crochets. So whatever amount of rows you have, that's how many single crochets you will put here, and however many stitches you have here, that's however many you will put. So for me, I'm going to do 16 single crochets along here. And there's no right or wrong place to place these single crochets, because as you can see, they're not definite stitches like these ones are. So you just have to kind of gauge. I'm going to be gauging 1 single crochet per row here. So I'm going to place the first one right here. So insert like that, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1. And I'm going to place my stitch marker here so I know where to join in when we come back around. So that's 1. I'm going to place the second one right in here. So that's 2. So we have 2 single crochets. Now we move on to next. So I'm going to place the third one right here. So we have 3 single crochets so far. I think I'm going to start placing my stitches on these bumps right here. So insert, or you can even go through this whole thing here. However, it looks good with your type of yarn. So I'm going to insert into this bump, and this is my 4th single crochet, and 5th right here, and again a bump, like that. So just keep going, making single crochets all the way down. Again, however many rows you have, that's how many single crochets you should have on here. So just go all the way down to the corner and I will meet you here. So I have last single crochet to do for this side. I'm just going to insert into this corner. So I have 16 single crochets this way, and now we can move on to this side. So here we have 6 single crochets from when we started. So we're going to again make 6 single crochets. So these are easier to see. So we're going to place our first one right here. So I'm going to insert my hook into that V, like so, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1. Next stitch right here, insert to that V, grab 2 strands, pull up a loop, that's 2, 3, 4, next 5, and the last one for me is 6, right here into the corner, and pull. So now I have 6 single crochets this way, and again we move on to the same side like this one. So we will do the same exact thing here, placing, for me it was 16 single crochets, so again I will do 16 single crochets here as well. So to start the next corner, I will start from here, and this little tail, if you also have it, I'm going to crochet around it. So how you do that is just start the next stitch. So I'm going to insert right here and make sure the tail is on top of your hook, so we crochet around it so we don't have to weave it in later. So pull up a loop, that's first single crochet. We move on to the next. Right here I'm going to place my second single crochet like that, and make sure the tail is again on top of my hook. Pull up a loop, single crochet, that's 2, and as you can see the little tail is being hidden as we go, so you just keep going. So I'm going to make my third single crochet into that little bump like so, keep the tail on top, and a single crochet. Like that. So just keep going until the corner and I will meet you here again. Okay, so again I have made 16 single crochets, and the last side we have 6 single crochets here, so that's what we will do. So starting from our first one right here, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, single crochet, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one right here, 6. I have 6, 16, 6, 16. So in total I have 44 stitches. So from going forward, every single row building this purse will be 44 single crochets for me. And however many you have now, that's however many you should have at each row going forward. So now to join this and start the next row, we're going to take out the stitch marker and we're going to do something that's called an invisible join. So pull the loop a little bit loose, take out your hook. We're going to insert our hook into the stitch from here, from the outside in, where the stitch marker was. Grab this loop, put it onto the hook, and we're going to make it go through this stitch. So just pull it through like this. So now you have this loop that's happening. We're going to insert our hook into this loop that you just made right here. So insert your hook, grab this loop, you want to tighten it, yarn over, and pull through all of these loops. So pull through all the way, yarn over, and chain one. So this is just a chain, this does not count as a stitch. And now we can place our first single crochet, and we're going to be crocheting into the back loops of these stitches. So not the full stitch, but the back loop only. And this is just for this row, so we can have a clear base, and you will see once we finish this row. So going forward for this row, we're working back loops only, like this, instead of this full stitch. So to start the first single crochet, we're going to start with the stitch right here. So the next stitch right here, insert your hook into the back loop only, like this, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's the first single crochet of this row, and we can place the stitch marker onto that so we know where to join in. So now we move on to our next stitch right here, back loop only, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, so moving forward with this row, just keep making one single crochet back loops only all the way around, and I will meet you back at the stitch marker. So now I'm finishing off this row right here. So this is my last single crochet I just did, and you can see the border that's being created. It naturally curves upwards like this, so the base is more prominent. And make sure that you're counting your stitches at every row to make sure it's the same each time. So to close off this row, we will do the same thing like we did last time, and this is the same exact way we'll be doing it for each row. So take out your stitch marker, make a loop like this, take out your hook. We're going to insert our hook where the stitch marker was right here. So insert from the back. So insert from the inside of the bag to the outside. Grab this loop, put it onto the hook, and we want to get this loop through this stitch. So just grab it with your hook and pull like this. Take your hook and insert where you just made that loop. So you can see if I loosen it like that, insert your hook right there and tighten it, put the loop on top of the hook, tighten that as well, like that, yarn over, and put this yarn through these stitches. So just pull it all the way, yarn over, and chain. So this is just a chain, this doesn't count as a stitch. Once we have joined the row, we can start single crocheting again. So we're going to start, instead of the back loops only, we're going to be using the full stitch. So we're going to place our first single crochet into that next stitch right here. So insert your hook, through the full stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And that's our first single crochet of this row. So I'm going to place another stitch marker. So that is where we'll be joining the next round. So now going forward, you just do one single crochet all the way around. So insert your hook into that next stitch, full stitch like this. You have the V on top, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and continue. So next stitch, like so. So going forward, you're just doing one single crochet all the way around until you come back to this stitch marker, and you just do the invisible join like we just did to join here. So you can do as many rows as you want, which is how tall or short you want your purse to be. So just make as many rows as you want. Make sure every single row has the exact same amount of stitches each time. So count back after every time you finish each row. And then I will meet you at the end of the purse to finish off the very last row and to finish off the purse. So for now, just keep doing single crochets. Also, when you're joining the round, make sure you're not putting any stitches into this very last string here. This is not a stitch. This is just from when we join the round. So I'm going to show you. So here I have single crochet, and my very last single crochet is right here. You can see it's a full stitch with a V like this. So that's my last single crochet. So we're not placing any stitches here. This is not a full stitch, and this is just our chain. So we're joining here. So if you're ever not 100% sure if you should place a stitch here or not, always count back your work. So at this point, you should have exactly, for me, 44 stitches, including the stitch marker. So this is my 44th stitch. So that's 100% I know I have to join here. So I can show you again. So you take out your stitch marker. We place our hook from the inside out to where the stitch marker was in that stitch. We take the loop and pull it through that stitch. Like so. And what we have created here, that's where we put our hook, tighten it, put the loop on the hook as well, and just tighten it, yarn over, and pull through all the way. We chain. This is not our first stitch. We move on to our next stitch right here, where we place the first single crochet. So pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through, and put the stitch marker back on like that. So as you can see, this is our chain, and this little area right here is where we joined. So that is not a stitch here. This is our last stitch. So just keep going, and I'll meet you at the end. So this was my last row before I attach the handle on top. So we're going to attach here. So once we attach the row together, in this very last row, we're going to attach the handles, and I'm actually going to flip my work. So instead of keep going this way like we've been doing, I'm going to just flip the work this way, like so. And again, we will start to single crochet this way. So I'm going to place the first one. So if you look at it from the outside, our first stitch is this one, which was our last stitch right here. So this is the chain, this is where we join, and this is the first stitch. So we're gonna put a single crochet in here. I'm just going to place the stitch marker just so you can see from the other side. So normally we start to crochet in here. This would be our first stitch, right? But we're going to flip our work and crochet into this first stitch that we just marked. And I'm going to just take that out, pull up a loop like normal, yarn over, pull through. So this is our first single crochet of this last row, and mark it. And we're only flipping this work because when we attach the handle, it just looks cleaner on this side if we crochet this way. So you'll see what I'm talking about when I show you, but otherwise you don't have to flip your work. You can just keep going the same way. It's just a nicer look on the handle. So right now I'm going to attach stitch markers on where I want the handles to go. So I'm going to just go like this and count how many stitches it takes my handle. So for example, if I look at it like this, you can see that it will be right here. So starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my handle takes about 9 stitches. So knowing that, I'm going to place stitch markers for 9 stitches and on the other side as well, and make sure that both sides are even. Okay, so I went ahead and placed the stitch markers off camera so I can count. So basically I have 9 stitches across, and that's because that's how long my handle is. So I have 9 stitches between each stitch marker. So including the stitch marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And my sides are 13, so 13, 9, 13, 9. So just make sure you calculate however many works for you, and just make sure that both sides are equal, and that's about it. So now we can continue. So since we're crocheting this way, we're going to open it up and start single crochet like regular this way until we reach our first stitch marker. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, and just normally single crochet. So now we have reached the stitch marker. I'm going to take it out. So where the stitch marker was, we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, and before completing it, we're going to add our handle on top like this. So just kind of hold it on top and just yarn over and finish the single crochet like normal. So just grab the yarn and pull through both loops like we usually do. So the only difference is that you just have this piece in between your single crochet, but nothing else is changing. So again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. So just a regular single crochet. The only tricky part is trying to hold it together, but once you have that down, it's very easy. So just single crochet again into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. So it starts to take shape like this, and just keep going. So just keep going until we reach our next stitch marker. And we have reached the stitch marker, so that's how we know it's our last single crochet here, but regardless, that's the only one that will fit. So insert to that last stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through like this. So now you can see the shape that it takes here. When we're looking at it from here, it's kind of bumpy, that it's created this edge. But if we look at it from the outside, from where we're going to be holding it from, it looks much cleaner and uniform. So that's because we turned on our last row when we turned our whole bag. So that's why we did that. If you didn't, you would just see this on the outside, which is also completely fine. It's totally up to you. So now we just continue like normal. So insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, and just complete a single crochet like so. Next stitch, so now keep doing single crochets until we get back here, and we will do the same thing with the second handle. So again, we reached a stitch marker. We're going to take it out, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and before completing it, we're going to attach our second handle. So put it on top. Again, we yarn over and complete a single crochet. So pull through both loops like that, and just do the same thing we did here. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. Oops. Like so. So again, we have reached our stitch marker. I'm going to take it out and place the last single crochet inside the handle. So again, this is what it should look like, and this is on the outside. So now we continue into the next stitch, yarn over from underneath. So we do regular single crochets, yarn over, pull through both loops, and continue like normal. So we have completed our last single crochet, and if you want to again double check, you will count your stitches again, and it should be the same one that we've been doing the whole time. So to finish off this whole bag, we're going to actually cut off this tail. So we'll cut off maybe this much, and all you have to do is pull, and it creates this tail. And here we will take our yarn needle and pull it through. And now we're going to go into this stitch. So where the stitch marker is, which was our first single crochet, we're going to take our stitch marker out. And where the stitch marker was, in this stitch right here, insert your needle through the full stitch, so through the full V, and pull like this. And now you can see where the yarn was coming from our last stitch here. So that's what we're going to go into. So pull, we're going to insert our needle into that V of the last stitch. So not the full stitch like this, but the V insert. If if you look on the back, you will see this bump as well behind it, like this. So we're just gonna tighten this here, insert our needle into that last stitch and in the back of the bump as well, and just pull through. So tighten it, and that should also create a V. So it looks like a stitch, but we just created that out of our needle. So like that, so it's seamless on top. And all that's left now is to weave in our end. So I'm going to weave it in on the inside of the back so it's less obvious. So I'm just going to bring my yarn in the back through any stitch. So we come out from here, and now we can just weave it in through any of these stitches. So I'll just go back and forth here. Once you feel like your yarn is secure enough, you can just take off the needle, and we're going to cut it off. But I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of length here because this type of yarn is very slippery and you can just burn off the edge with a lighter and it stays very secure. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it off about here and just take a lighter and just burn off just this tiny bit. So as you can see, I've burnt off that little piece. So now it can stay 100% secure and it won't unravel. And for me, the bag came to around 21 centimeters by 12 centimeters. So if that helps you to gauge how big or small yours will be. And you're finished. I'm going to add a liner inside, but of course that's optional. If you want to learn how to do that, let me know. I can definitely make a video on that. But yeah, this is your final bag. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful.